What's up, you guys? Mr. Matt here. So this video is for my 3rd and 4th graders. So before I get started, I just want to let you guys all know that I miss you guys and that I hope that you guys are still doing your music activities from the previous weeks if you have not already done them. This is going to be the last video lesson for the school year that I'm going to be doing with you guys. And then hopefully next year when all this is over, we will be together in class again and we can start practicing instruments together and doing all these activities in person. So if you guys haven't liked the music activities that have been online, don't worry, that's going to change next year. This will all be over soon, I promise. We just got to get through this, but you guys are troopers. So what we're going to do this week is we're going to do the history of jazz. So this is a worksheet that I want you guys to either print out or you guys can type on it on the PDF that I sent, and I want you guys to fill out this activity. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this with you guys so you guys know what to do, and I'll give you some of the answers and give you some opinions on what I think with this worksheet. But I want you guys to do this by yourselves at home. If you guys need help, you guys can ask a friend or a family member. That's totally cool. But I want you guys to really try your very best on this. Okay, starting off, the history of jazz. Directions: read the passage below and answer the questions that follow. Did you know that jazz music has been around since the late 1800s? It began in African American communities in the South. Since then, jazz has taken the world by storm. After the abolishment of slavery, many freed slaves tried to find work. With strict segregation laws in the South, former slaves had trouble finding jobs. Most laws did not apply to working in entertainment, though African Americans got great jobs performing music in a variety of shows. In these shows, the upbeat music called ragtime was popular. So ragtime is an older form of jazz. It was the first origination of jazz. Keep that in mind. The specific birthplace of jazz is New Orleans, Louisiana. It is in the city that ragtime music transformed into jazz music. See, just said it. People from all over the world came from boat every day to port the city of New Orleans. They brought musical traditions from their home countries to New Orleans. The nightclubs and entertainment venues blended the different styles of music. Spanish music, blues, gospel music, and African music were mixed together. It then became the lively style known as, that's right, jazz. The sounds of jazz spread like wildfire in the 1920s. The United States was changing. Women gained the right to vote. Prohibition came to an end. Wild jazz music became the perfect background music for a turbulent time. Young people of all backgrounds began to take an interest in jazz. This period of time became known as the Jazz Age. Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington are two famous African American musicians. These talented songwriters and performers added excitement to the genre. The Jazz Age included some famous women jazz artists too. Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday are two beloved performers. These musicians brought their own unique talents to the genre. Their influence continues to impact the music world today. Jazz grew and changed through many years. Many new forms of music were created. Jazz's influence reaches almost every form of popular music today. Okay, so that was the passage. And now we have, how is jazz related to other music? So, it just said in the last passage that jazz is in all forms of music today. So you can even say that it's in some of the styles of music that you like to listen to. But what I'm going to say is ragtime, because that's what it said at the beginning of this passage as well. So I wrote ragtime in the first one. After that, when did jazz become popular? So think about the Jazz Age. What era was that? It was, that's right, the 1920s. So right, 1920s. Okay. Number 3. What is significant about the Jazz Age? So one thing that you guys can talk about with this is I'm going to leave it up to your imaginations. You can talk about how it blended a bunch of different music cultures together, where it originated, and what city it came from. Remember, it was in Louisiana. It's called New Something. So you can talk about some of those significant things. And also, it talks about how women gained their right to vote, and it talks about the prohibition in the 1920s. So those are two things that you guys can talk about. Okay, number 4. Why did musical styles from other countries influence jazz? Okay, so think about how jazz originated and think about those types of music. So you can talk about how New Orleans was a port city, and a bunch of different people came to New Orleans, and they brought their own cultures. And with your own culture brings your own sound, your own music. So you can talk about how molding all those things together created this type of music, which is jazz. You can just take one or two and talk about them, or you can take the whole entire big picture and talk about that. Okay, so those are the 4 questions. See, it wasn't that bad. That I want you guys to go over at home. If you guys have any questions, use Google. You guys are really smart kids. I have faith in you. Again, this is the last music lesson until next year. Next year, hopefully we will be back in music class all together. I'm pretty confident we will be. I just want to let you guys all know that I miss you guys, and I cannot wait to see you in class. I hope you guys have the best, safest summer ever. And I'll see you guys next year.